Hello and welcome to today's course. We're going to be looking at creating and using outbound calls. And the the main thing to point out here is that this is the final of our 6 lessons that are making up part of our short course on report and marketing administration. It's going to build on quite a lot of the material that we've looked at already. And although the title for this is how to create, or the objective for this is how to create outbound calls as a campaign activity, it actually carries with it quite a large expectation on other knowledge that you will have. And that's actually some of the techniques that you would use for the creation of email merge templates. It would have a little bit of expectation about the expectation on understanding how a feature called key attributes is built up, and we've got a set of training all about that elsewhere within the support and training YouTube channel. So have a look at these. In fact, there's at least 3 other videos on the creation of key attributes within inside this course, because of course everything that we're doing today is being recorded and will be part of that course. Now, I'm going to be using, for the purposes of today, a user that is Susan May. She is a senior sales manager. We're using the standard demo data, and this is what I'm logging on as. You can see here, I'm just about to log on, and here we are on a screen that's very familiar with you, looking at her key performance indicators. And what we're going to do now is going to go back into the marketing campaign that we were constructing in the last lesson. So I'm looking at where I've got the campaigns here. I'm going to go down into the campaign, the winter campaign that we assembled yesterday. And you can see that here are the existing activities that have been created for the campaign. I'm going to here go down into the wave. So I'm looking at the wave activities in detail. You can see there the individual actions. Some of them are completed, marked as the checkbox, but some are in progress. That's the round robin call that we created yesterday. And what I'm going to do now is to create this idea of a new activity. And here I'm going to start filling in its definition. Now, everything looks very similar to the existing screens. You can see that we give the activity a name. It's going to be associated with a group, and it's going to have a budget associated with it. So I can fill in quite a lot of information here straight away. But as soon as I indicate that the action here on the top, the type of activity that this is going to be a outbound call, suddenly the screen changes quite substantially. You can see here now I've got some additional fields. Now, an outbound call, what we have to sort of imagine this is that whereas previously, when we created a set of internal telesales calls, they were automatically created as calendar entries that would hit people's diaries. This is the users that they'd be allocated to. And so they would be in the calendar list of actions, and that would be quite a lot of information there. But the idea of a call list is that it separates out this need to know, I have to call 100 people in the next 3 weeks. Separate that sense away from cluttering up the calendar to a specific list that has the calls that need to be made, and only when the call is made does the communication record get created, and you gain that communication within its history. So this is talking about um, setting up a conversation that will take place at some point, but is not fixed in the diary now. Now, if you're going to have people calling through a list of 100 people, 200 people, however many, then you're going to need to ring up, you're going to get through a gatekeeper, and then finally have the conversation that you need. And this is what this screen that we see here is all about. So you have an introductory, and then you have the conversation. Now, if the conversation for the outbound calls is going to be on the surveying of people, so that you can qualify whether they are a lead or not, or an account management element that you're talking to regularly, you're going to want to be able to access a set of information that is inside a questionnaire. Now, those questionnaires are built using key attributes. I'm not setting one up here. I'm going to assume that that's already been done. So I'm going to fill in the fields as we have them so far. And I've just pulled down to look at the fields that we've got here. You can see that we're going to be needing to specify the introduction. We're going to specify the detail of the conversation. We're going to specify a group that we're talking to. And we're going to specify as well the number of calls that we should be making. And here, let's fill in some of the details here. So I've filled in some information. Now, let me just zoom in on this. This is where I am marking my outbound calls as for a particular group, but I could also make it available to specific users as well. So these are additive to the team. So my team, I'm going to give it to team, but I'm also going to give it to myself as well. So I want to be able to see that. I specified the users. Now, inside the introduction, this is where there's a tie-in to what you may have learned about in previous lessons that have covered the creation of email templates. Because what you've got here are some merge fields. Now, the merge fields are looking at the information that is in the underlying group. So if the underlying group for this outbound call is based on company, then you would just get the company in person information. But it could be on a customer care issue, in which case you could even get hold of customer care information, include it here. But you'll notice that I'm saying, hello, am I speaking with first name, last name? And that's either going to be a yes or a no. And if it's not a yes or a no, then it moves on to the next bit of the script. So this is where you are able to put a script in place. Now, it's not a conditional script. This is only simply available as a standard set of questions, but it does allow people who would not otherwise know fully all about the products that you're selling to guide them through a conversation. Now, notice as well, I think it's quite funny that it's saying my name is user, user first name, user last name, as though people wouldn't remember their own usernames, their own first name and second name. Well, I've just zoomed out again here, and what I'm going to do is step through and start filling in some of the other information that we have at this point. Now, this is to do with the communication, and I need to just fill in what this communication is. So saying that we have rung up, we will be speaking to this person, and now I can start to think about what else I want with this. So we have got in our screen here, we've got the details of the fact that this outbound call is associated with a group. It's going to be associated with a set of a script, and there's also a category that's associated with. You see on the right hand side there, bottom right, it says category. That's the set of questions. Now, I've not showing you how that's set up. That's done in another lesson. So just hold in your head at the moment. There's a set of questions there which you don't know about, but I have set up, and they will be inherited when we come to running this questionnaire. So if I step through, I've now got my work saved. I have this positioned. You can see that I can go ahead and I can create the call list. I can also regenerate that. The regenerate is a very useful thing. Is if you've allocated this call associated with a group, well, that group, if it's a dynamic group, it could be adding new members at any time, because a group is either a static set of information or a dynamic set. And if it's a dynamic set, when you've generated this call list, it's only generating the call list based on the information at that time. So if more people get added into the dynamic group, you can go back here and choose to regenerate the list to make sure all of those new records that match the criteria for the dynamic group are included in the outbound calls. So let's go and see this in action. Now, you'll notice that I've just gone into the My CRM menu, and this is where I would expect to find the outbound calls, but it's not here. I actually have to change my personal preferences as a user to say I want to see outbound calls. So over here I come into my preferences and go into preferences, and you'll see I think it's the fourth item along the first row, and if I just change this, you can see that I'm now changing this to yes, I do want to see the outbound calls. And I've saved that. So now when I return back into looking at the My CRM menu, you can see that I've got my outbound calls list shown here. So there's configuration to do to enable and make sure that the users who are going to be using outbound calls have also made sure that they can see these calls in their menus. Now, I've got nothing here at this point because I've not generated the call. So although I can now see outbound calls, there is no outbound call for me to use yet. So I do actually have to go back into the marketing. And if I go back into the marketing, I can see where my marketing campaign is, my winter campaign, come down, look at the fourth activity there within this phase. If I click into it, I can now click to generate the call list. And so here I'm confirming the group that I'm using, and then I'm going to click save, and there you have it. I've generated my call list. So once I've done this, I can now go back into the call list, and I can see that I have a call list that I can enter, and I can start to use it. Now, this call list, as I come in, has a header area which shows to me the stats of where I'm progressing through my call list. And I could, if I was a telesales, inside sales, I could be doing something like 50 calls a day. That might be my target. And I would start to see what my achievement of that target is at the top. We'll also be looking at the reporting that managers can do as well on this. But you can see that I've got the ability now to go and get a call. So if I click to get a call, you can see that it's pulled in a record from within inside the generated call list, and I can start to make that call. Now, notice that there's the hyperlinks, that's the click to dial, and so that click to dial could have been configured by you to take through to whatever browser-based VoIP calls you're making. So it's not a difficult thing to be able to configure the outbound calling. So I could be calling here from within my browser. I could use an external call. When I do this, I can, everything that I'm doing is being timed. So here I can add additional comments to the information. I could finish the call. I can indicate that I have spoken to the gatekeeper now and confirm that I've got through. So let's see that I've got this, I've got the get another call, finish the calling, got through. I could exclude this person. For example, if I'll show you that in a moment, but that exclusion could be because, well, they're no longer interested, they're dead, they are, whatever reason, that person shouldn't be called again. Or I can even indicate that they're away on holiday and they need to be called back after a particular date. And the list, that contact then goes back into the outbound calls list so that you can do that. In practice, if I say I've got through, now I'm through the gatekeeper questions into the main body or script of the call. And this is where a script can be combined with the questions that are contained within inside the key attribute category that is associated with this outbound call. Remember, I've shown you how to set up the key category for the outbound calls. That's something that is set up outside, and there are some lessons that cover specifically key attributes. But this is where you can have a set of questions about your existing software usage in this particular example, allowing you to start to work out who is interested in the particular software. Now that you've got the script done, we can then say, oh, right, I've finished the conversations, I've collected the information that I need, let me go and get another call. So I can start to make another call, and I've grabbed the details of another person from the list. Because it turns out that actually they're not within the target audience for this particular special offer, so I can exclude them. We're not going to be bothering them again on that, so I can mark them down and exclude them, and I can go ahead and I can start to get another call on that basis. And if necessary, I can start to just indicate that they're away. So this is a callback, and I'm filling in when they should be called back after a particular date, and then that will be saved, and I can put that back into the queue. That contact now, it won't be served to anyone until it's after that date. So that's a good way of being able to ensure that people aren't bothered and no one else wasting their time trying to reach somebody who is unobtainable. So we've come back, we're looking at a record, and we can carry out another action if we want, but notice that there are hyperlinks on the screen, and so if you need more detail in the call, you can always click, and you've got access to the company detail here. You can look at the additional tabs that are on here. You can even update information within the context of the outbound call as well. I'm just going to cancel that because I'm not updating any information. I'm just going to cancel back into my call, and I think I'm going to finish this call now. So I'm finished my call, and I'm back on this summary page, and this gives me, as the individual user, a heads up as to where we are within the particular dialing out and the outbound call progress that we're making. As a manager, I can go across and start to see, or as a user, I can go across and see any of the contacts that we've made. What has that done in terms of capturing information into the record? Now, I spoke to one of the records I spoke to was Eurolandia. So I've come across into the Eurolandia, or sorry, this is Gatecom, into the Gatecom record. And if we now have a look at the key attributes, we can see a questionnaire has been filled in. So in the course of the conversation, that questionnaire from the outbound calls, using this feature called key attributes, has filled in the information that is on this page. And this key attribute information can be used for the further definition of groups, or for the further targeting of marketing and reporting. So I can, as you can see, I can now go and have a look at reporting. So I'm going to go into reporting outbound calls, and I'm going to run just one of these calls, the top one, which is just going to show me the activities that have been taking place. And if I run this, you can see that here is my report on the activities. You can see here who's been excluded, when a callback has been scheduled, as in don't call me until after this particular date, who has been busy, and that's the details of the group and the progress that we're making with all of the calls. So that's reporting. We've seen there that the outbound call behavior means that we are able to do any of the actions that we want, capturing information, we can report on it, and it's building this sense of being able to measure the outcome of a marketing campaign, getting closer and closer to answering the question of, I know that half my money in marketing is wasted, but I don't know which half my money is wasted. Well, this starts to be able to give you a sense of, this is truly what we need in terms of the information. Now, I'm coming to the end of this session. And what you may want to do after this is to have a look at those lessons on the key attributes. It's using, I think, the examples that are on the Sage training and YouTube channel. Are probably working with an older version of Sage CRM, so the branding will look different, but it is still the same feature. It's a strong, stable feature, and you'll be able to see how that ties in with the outbound calling. Let's see if we've got any questions. I'm going to say thank you so much, everyone, for joining me on these lessons. I do hope they have been useful to you. This lesson has been recorded, like all the others, and will be added to the Sage Support and Training YouTube channel. I look forward to seeing you on the next training course. Thank you so much, everyone, and goodbye. Hmm.